Hi, sweetie. I was going to make you a Marco Polo, but I decided to do the video thing instead. Because I don't necessarily want to send this to you right away. I'll probably send it to you after I leave America. Do you remember the house? Well, of course you remember. You know the house that we looked at on the bluff? I think it was called Douglas Street or Douglas Road or something. I was telling Jen about it, and when Jen and Donna and I were all having tea and a chat, and I was showing them the pictures of it and how beautiful it was, with its 6.5 acres of woodland, if you don't mind, 6.5, and the guest house and the garage and the workshop, beautiful views, and we were saying, Donna was saying, but because there's already been a mudslide there, she said it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be another mudslide in any day soon, but it scares people, and that's why it messes with the prices. And also, you can't get insured for it. I was just thinking about it. I really loved it. I loved that house. I loved the situation of it, but I loved the design of it as well. Those big, huge windows and separate studio space. And honestly, I think if you could have designed a house, for both our needs, could you have done better than 6.5 acres of woodland? Like 1.5 acres just to swing it for you. I mean, 1.5 acres more than 5 acre wood, obviously. And the sea for me, and the arty place, and all the projects that you could do, and it just seemed perfect. But of course, you don't want to build somewhere that's going to slide into the water. So Jen was telling me something I hadn't realised before, and that is that people are buying those lots or buying those houses, and they can move the house. What they're doing is they're basically taking the house down bit by bit, building a foundation maybe 20 or 30 or whatever, 40 feet back from the edge. So they put down a big new strong foundation that's outside of the danger zone, and then they move the old house brick by brick or whatever it is back onto the new foundation. So you have your beautiful house, your beautiful views, and you're in a much safer spot with a new foundation. And now you can probably tell where I'm going with this. So, over the last month, it feels to me like we did a lot of construction work, we did a lot of breaking down old stuff, we did a lot of building new stuff. We got a very clear picture about what we wanted to create in our futures, of being with one another in safety and freedom. And I actually thought that we were building a house in the last month. And then, of course, when we had that final conversation, when I said that I needed to be able to trust you before we could have anything together, and when you said I worry about that. I felt like that we built a house or a sandcastle or something, and suddenly the foundations rattled and the whole lot just fell over. It just feels like what's happened. We're not going to build our house. We're not going to live in a house that teeters on the brink of a mudslide, that has lots of sand underneath it. And I mean, even the fact that people don't insure houses like that, I find that quite interesting part of the metaphor as well. Nobody is going to back up something built on soft ground that may end up in the ditch. Just like nobody in their right mind would have a marriage or would want a marriage that was built on a mudslide. But I didn't know. I suppose if I thought about it I could have figured it out, but I really didn't know until Jen said that you can build a new foundation, a brand new foundation, without having to build a new house. I feel like we've built a new house over the last month. You've told me all these things, and I've listened to them, and I've understood some of them. And no, I think I've understood all of them, basically. I don't agree with all of your core foundations, but I can work with all of those things. I can work with any of those things. I've told you some of mine. In fact, you already know mine. And you can work with them. Doesn't mean that they'll always be perfect and there won't be any what do you call it, friction. But it's all workable stuff. We built our house. And it just looks really pretty. Especially when it looks like when it looks like us being able to have our freedom, follow our hobbies, have our own space, have our own time, and have all our love, and have the one. The house is already there, the house is built. It just needs to be transferred onto new foundations. I love you, Scotty.